Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello and welcome back to the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 League on the Xbox platform. Today we bring you racing from the motherland at the Sochi Autodrom is round 16 of the 16th season and Ruski Grand Prix. My name is Justin and joining me it's Andy.
You sure your name's Justin? Oh, I thought your name was Vladimir. Oh well, there we go. Interesting intro there from you, Justin, and you caught me off guard. Yes, welcome along, folks, to the Sochi Autodrom here in Russia. We had a fantastic race last time out in Singapore, and yeah, Evo was winning that one. He has a 100-point lead going into this one. There's a very, very, very slim chance Evo could win the championship today, but it would require him to win and Surprise to score absolutely nothing. But it's always a possibility in AOR, so we'll keep an eye on it and we'll see what happens in today's race.
Yeah, we were discussing before the broadcast started that Surprise has actually failed to score 4 times out of 15 races so far here in Season 16. So it is certainly a possibility, and of course Evo has won an absolutely incredible number of times. What's he up to? 7-9, he's up to 9 wins, so it's certainly possible that Evo could win and Surprise could fail to score, but he is here, he is present, so he will be able to defend his position in the championship and try to get this to go a little bit further on down. But yeah, it is a 100-point deficit that we currently find ourselves. The tires available today are the softs, the super soft, or excuse me, the ultra softs and the hyper softs. Those are the tire compounds. I don't think we're going to be seeing very much of the yellow compound tires. I did catch a bit of the PS4 race earlier today, which was pretty exciting if you guys missed that one. The track records pole time from the American ACR Raven with a 132.9 in Season 14, and the total race time of 44 minutes and 15 seconds from RG Matiz actually on the Xbox platform, also back in Season 14. So that is what the drivers will be aiming for. I fully expect those to be beaten. We don't know the conditions just yet as far as what the weather is going to be like today, but this is what the track looks like, and not much elevation change, of course, as you would assume, but we do have a hot lap of Formula Danny and Kazi.
Riding on board for a hot lap round the Russian Grand Prix, courtesy of Formula Danny in the Mercedes, who have taken all 5 wins here to the 5.8 kilometer circuit. First ride onto the F1 calendar back in 2014. Flat out turn 1 for a heavy braking zone of turn 2. Nailed the apex, which Danny does very nicely indeed. Set yourselves up with a swimming left-hander of turn 3. Up the inside, like your favourite granny, for another heavy braking zone of turn 4 approaches. Once we begin the second sector of 90-degree corner complex. Don't run too wide at turn 5 as your lap could be ruined right there, right then. Flat out turn 6. For a slight break at turn 7, down to 5th gear, Danny takes it. Now position your car as much right as possible for throwing your car in turn 8. Danny really going for it on this lap before he ends the complex of 90-degree corners. At turn 10, as he heads on to the second dose of DRS down the back straight, where overtaking is certainly possible with DRS and slipstream. Now a very tricky braking zone of turn 13, down to 3rd gear, he takes it, clearing the curb to absolute perfection for a sweeping left-hander of 14 in a sector where the drivers can win or lose a lot of time. 15 partially blind for using as much track space as possible on the exit of turn 16 as he closes out the lap. Black ball for turn 17, 2 90-degree corners to go now as he closes out the lap around the final corner for Formula Danny, and that is the lap of the Russian Grand Prix. What a lap from Formula Danny.
I apologize for that. I still had my microphone muted. So that was the Sochi track. Thanks to Formula Danny and Kazi for putting that together for us. But yeah, we've got 14 drivers out this time, which is 2 more than we had last week, Andy. So we're looking for a good time. Oh, a bit of a collision there for a Veloce surprise actually with the Red Bull. I'm not sure if he was on an outlap, but coming together there. But yeah, it should be a good race.
It should be a good race, Justin, absolutely no doubt about it. We had 12 cars last week, as we've mentioned, and it was an absolute thriller of a race, no doubt about that. Veloce Alonso coming charging through the field with that different strategy made things really, really, really exciting, and I'm sure we'll have more of the same here today in Sochi. It's an interesting circuit. The barrier's never too far away on what you could sort of call a street circuit, I suppose. It weaves its way around the Winter Olympic Park, so yeah, plenty of options to overtake going down towards turn 2 and down into turns 14 and 15 as well. So, yep, it should be an exciting one and really closely contested at the front between the usual suspects, Surprise, Evo, Joe and Simon as well. So looking forward to it, Justin.
Yeah, great to see all the heavy hitters are available and here for today's race. And yeah, we're really hoping for a good run. It does look like pretty clear skies for today's qualifying, so I don't expect any sort of precipitation. Hopefully we'll get some sort of weather forecast from one of the drivers. Maybe OMG It's Joe will come into the chat and let us know what we have in store as far as the race weather is concerned. Speaking of OMG It's Joe, he crosses the line and sets a 129.7 on his set of Hypersoft tires. All Hypersofts, actually, for all 14 drivers, including the guys in the pits. But it is 4th quickest so far, but only 2,000 slower than Evo. So clearly that pace that OMG has found in this later part of the season, that is continuing right on through. But we do know that Joe's struggles usually aren't with one-lap pace, are they, Andy?
Oh, absolutely not. He usually struggles with tyre life. Without doubt, on the circuits where tyre life has not been too big an issue, he's done okay. But we saw in Singapore just how much of a struggle it was for him with the tyre life. And, I think you remember him saying he cannot believe how Evo does it with the tyre compounds. It really is incredible how Evo was able to keep his tyres in the right window. But, Joe, here at Sochi, it's not a track that the tyre wear is too bad on. So hopefully he can have a good race. Mind you, he did say in the comments that he's not looking forward to it. So, yeah, maybe not one for him today. But, yeah, looking forward to it. But Leopard, the man at the moment, setting the early pace with that 129.4.
Speaking of Leopard, great segue there. Speaking of Leopard, he did pick up his 3rd podium last time out, which is really surprising because Leopard, although sitting 4th in the standings at the moment, just ahead of Jason 97 F1, he's had, kind of lows and highs, that sort of thing. It's been a sort of up and down kind of season for him, but that picking up his 3rd podium last time out, definitely cementing himself as somebody that certainly belongs in the top split of Apex Online Racing on the Xbox platform. So also we saw last time out that incredible drive from Alonso from the back of the grid, using that alternate strategy, the only driver, if I remember correctly, to go on that alternate strategy, and just making that work, charging through the field towards the end of the race, all the way up to 2nd position in the end. Wasn't enough to even come close to the Ferrari of Evo and challenging for the win, but a very well-deserved 2nd place ahead of, again, TOR Leopard, who picked up that 3rd podium. So always great to see kind of different names on the top step. I feel like we had a few races there where we were just seeing Evo, Surprise, and Joe on the podium almost every single race. So it's always nice to see some other people up there.
Absolutely. They had been starting to take a stranglehold of the championship, haven't they, in terms of the pecking order. But yeah, nice to see something a little bit different. Alonso, in his first 2 races back, never really set the world alight. 9th place and 8th place. Error-strewn performances to open his account, but then really stepped it up. Singapore. It's a shame he's not with us here today to build on that, but I'm sure come the end of the season he'll be firing on all cylinders. 8 minutes to go then in this qualifying session. It's still LCR Leopard on top, looking to build, it has to be said, on that fine podium we saw last time out in P3. 4th in the race before that. So in general, it's been a good run of form for LCR Leopard at the moment. So yeah, 7 and 8 minutes to go. Leopard still on top. Surprise in 2nd, Evo 3rd, and Joe in 4th. And Murso at the moment is in P5 as things stand. And to be fair to Murso, since joining the TR, the likes of him and Restev, they joined quite late on. They've done quite well. They've adapted to the top tier really well, haven't they, Justin? In the last couple of races, Murso's picked up some solid points as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, it's not easy to just jump into this league, but yeah, he's got 2 6th and a 7th, so 22 points. Valache Alonso, though, actually, after that second place finish, has actually jumped up to 11th in the standings after just 3 races, so really impressive stuff from our for our returning driver and the of course the Alfa Romeo esports driver as well too. But yeah, we've got just about 7 minutes now remaining in this qualifying session. CRG Evo goes quickest of all now with a 129.1, about 129.1, about 0.3 of a second, just under 0.3 quicker than his teammate LCR Leopard. But so it is a Ferrari 1-2 as it stands right now, and actually more so, who we were just talking about, is, I believe, on an outlap right now. So we'll stick with him and follow him through as he does this hot lap. About halfway through now this qualifying session, and we've got 8 times on the board for, make that 9 times on the board for the 14 drivers that we've got so far. I did also want to talk briefly a little bit about Pinecone, because we were really talking up Pinecone for a while there after he got 3 third places in a 4-race span. From Austria down to Italy, or Hungary, excuse me. Austria to Hungary was where he got that string. But then he had the DNF in Belgium, only managing 7th place in Italy, and only managing 1 single championship point in Singapore. So it has not been going well for the past few races for our young Haas driver, but he still has managed to pick up more podiums so far this season than Leopard. And indeed, Leopard actually has finished in the top 5 11 times out of 15 races this season. I feel like he's quietly been one of the more consistent drivers we've got, and I guess that's how, you know, he's earned himself that 4th place spot in the championship.
Absolutely, I think Cody's done a really solid job, no doubt about it. But yeah, it's been a... I mean, I'm looking at Pinecone here, and the last time out in Singapore, 10th place. But he really was driving really, really well in that race, and then just dropped down. But 5 minutes to go now in the session, still Leopard on top. And Justin, I'm going to actually leave the session. Apologies. I'm going to leave and join back because my cars are lagging quite a bit, Justin. So I'm going to try and leave. Okay.
No problem. I can. We can keep on board. Well, in fact, we will keep on board with more so as he navigates his Renault through the Sochi Autodrom, as Andy will rejoin and hopefully have a better connection. He's currently sitting 6th fastest with that 129.9, very close to Pinecone though, actually, and just about within the top 5 as he makes his way through turn 11. DRS open through turn 12, 190 miles an hour, approaching 200 now into 8th gear, over 200 miles an hour. The high-speed left-hander of turn 13 into the right-hander of turn 14. Don't want to run too wide. You want to open up that left-hander as much as possible, and then it's a short, straight sprint down to the left-hander of 16. Again, you don't want to run too wide. Open up 17 as much as you can, using that exit curb as well up through the gears, 170 miles an hour before getting back onto the brakes. Keeping it in 4th gear for that penultimate corner is WR Morso, down to 3rd ever so briefly, and then across the line, and he does improve by about half a second, actually, moving up into 4th position with that 129.4, just over 4 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. And I imagine he's got just about enough time to head back to the pits and get back out there one more time and try to set an even faster lap. It is Leopard at the top once again with the 129.158, 21 thousandths of a second quicker than his teammate CRG Evo, who again can win the championship here today if he wins and if Surprise fails to score. We have narrowed down the possibility of the possible people that could win the championship quite significantly after the race last time out in Singapore, and it is down to just Evo and Surprise. So Surprise is the only man that is capable of actually displacing Evo from that top step. Understandably, though, he is going to need to win all 6 of the remaining races. So it's some pretty heavy pressure that he's under at the moment. As we'll look on over to Jason, who has not won a race, but has certainly won Driver of the Day on more than one occasion due to his driving style. He doesn't tend to qualify well, but he's always clean and making up positions in the race. And you know, he's just that kind of driver, isn't he?
Absolutely. No one any more consistent than Jason. Even Evo, it's hard to argue about consistency against Jason. Jason does not go through a race by picking up a penalty. It's incredible just how consistent he is. And has he picked up points in every race he's been in? Yes, he has. He didn't start last time out in Singapore, but I mean, look at the run of form. It's just unfortunate not to have picked up a few more podiums along the way. Just the one, Justin, but a handful of fourth places, and yeah, fifth in the standings, and he deserves to be there. Just going on that consistency, it's incredible just how consistent Jason is. And sometimes people rated Jason as a driver, couldn't you? Because he doesn't have the outright pace, but in the race he's so consistent and very rarely makes mistakes. So he'll be hoping today he can get another strong points finish.
I'm getting an echo from you through the Xbox now. Ever since you rejoined, right? Can you like mute your microphone in Xbox? Is that an option? I was looking for an option in the pause menu on how to mute the chat, but I was not able to find that. So
I've just realised I've got my mic plugged in on the Xbox controller, so everyone in the lobby can probably hear me as well. Hi everyone. Bye everyone. There you go. I'm taking it out.
Well, I'm sure Jason really appreciated that as he's, trying to go around and set a qualifying lap, having the commentators talk about him.
They're probably, thank God I didn't say anything bad about them. Thank goodness for that. They're going to come in after park for me and have a word with me. Thank goodness. Well, that's that sorted. Thank God for that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think the mic was pretty far away from you, but we are now very much into the qualifying, into the end of this qualifying session. Let's actually go on board with our championship leader, CRG Evo. I believe he's actually just started his lap. Yes, he has. DRS is open on the main straight on the run down towards turn 2. 210, 211 miles per hour, heavy on the braking, down into 4th gear, and this is going to be his final attempt with only 33 seconds remaining in this qualifying session, but so far the quickest man has been his teammate Leopard, and I'm actually very keen to see if he's going to hold on to that, Andy.
Yeah, fantastic job by Leopard, no doubt about it, to put himself up in top spot. I mean, we were a little bit surprised, and he's just starting his final lap now. LCR Leopard, can Evo do anything about him? I've just seen his first sector Evo. He's 200ths up on his current best, and at the moment that is on par to match LCR Leopard, but this has came from absolutely nowhere from Leopard. He's never been this high up in the order in qualifying this season, no doubt about it. But that third place last time out in Singapore has possibly spurred him on. Murso has seen the checkered flag. He's gone 5th. Let's see what Evo can do as he runs down into that final sector, breaking down into turn 14 and 15, and now into that final sector. What can he do? Can he deny his teammate? From LCR Leopard up till now, he is going to be one of the last men to cross the line. He crossed the line with around 17 seconds to go, but here comes his Ferrari teammate of CRG Evo. So often this season, Leopard has been referred to Evo unfairly as his dog. That's not been the case so far today, but Evo has gone quicker by 600ths of a second on his previous best. What can Leopard do? Can he respond? What can Surprise do, Justin? He's in the final sector.
Yep, Surprise just making his way through turn 15 now. Actually, Leopard is a little bit behind the Mercedes driver, so we'll see if Surprise is able to position himself in the best possible way for today's Russian Grand Prix. Again, he just needs to score points in order to keep the championship alive, but ideally he wants to outscore Evo by as many points as possible. It looked like a bit of a dodgy penultimate final corner. It is not going to be improvement for Veloce Surprise. Let's go on board with Leopard now. He crosses the line. It's also... Was that an improvement? I'm not sure. But
there's not like 3,000s between them. 3,000s between them. Goodness me.
That is incredible.
That was such an... 3,000s. Wow, Leopard is really looking quick round here. That's a really impressive job from him. This definitely, without doubt, the start of qualifying, Justin. LCR Leopard putting that time in. He had done a 129.158, so he has improved slightly, and only 3,000s away. The top 4, look, only 1,000 between Surprise and Pinecone as well. Wow. 1,000 between them. A fantastic race. Top 4 covered by less than a 10th. Brilliant.
Yeah, just 19 thousandths between Morso and MVP 0 as well. Less than 9/10 separating the top 11 at the end of qualifying, but it is going to be your championship leader, CRG Evo, who takes the pole position with his teammate LCR Leopard starting alongside him on the front row, and Surprise in 3rd position. Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, Hype Energy. All right, and we are back. Like I said, it was very quick, and we are just waiting for all of the drivers to get onto the grid, but wow, what a qualifying that was. I have to say, that was very impressive stuff. Really excited to see if Leopard is actually going to take the fight to Evo. I mean, again, Evo with that 100-point gap down to Surprise, so I wonder if helping out his teammate is no longer on the docket for LCR Leopard, and I wonder if he's going to be really pushing for the win, because of course that's what everybody wants. They want that win, they want that first win, and you have to say Leopard is looking in a prime position to make that happen. And in fact, with the long run down towards turn 2, 2nd position might be the better spot.
Yeah, absolutely. That is probably one of the longest runs in the entire calendar down to a corner, and well, it's not to the first corner. The first corner's a little right-hand kink, but you know, it's the first braking zone in the racetrack, and there's no doubt about it, Justin. We've seen it in recent years in real-life Formula 1 that being on pole, you can find yourself being swamped quite easily going down there. So yeah, Leopard, every chance off the grid if he can get into the slipstream behind Evo to challenge at the start of this Grand Prix. But he has won before, Leopard. Remember, he did win last year twice. Once in Austin when we had only 11 cars on the grid on that occasion, then the occasion where Evo and Sally came together in Singapore where he won last year. So Leopard maybe not won this year, but he has. Yeah, let's see if he can do it again today. But this has really came from nowhere, isn't it, Justin? We did not expect Leopard to be mixing it up amongst Surprise.
Yeah, surprising also to see OMG, it's Joe way down in 7th position and CRG Simon down in 9th position. I think that's maybe the more shocking part that we haven't really talked about yet. We do have 3 people starting on the ultra soft tires for today's race. That's Jason, Zelchi, and Reynolds outside the top 10, of course. So those guys will be running the alternate strategy. Speaking of strategy, I can go ahead and let you guys know the pit stop strategy. So we expect the pit stop window to be open around lap 7 to 10 for those starting on the Hypersofts, around lap 16 to 18 for those starting on the Ultra Softs. Again, we are not expecting to see the softs, and I have to say, based on the way the skies are looking, I don't know if we're going to be seeing any inters or full wets either. We don't know, at least certainly I haven't heard any sort of weather forecast yet, but it's certainly looking like it's going to be a dry one out there. Very different sort of scenario from the PS4 race that ran earlier today, as the final cars are making their way to the grid. The Mercedes of EVR Reynolds finding his grid spot now as we prepare to go racing here in Sochi. As I struggle to find a camera angle, here we go. We've got 3 lights, we've got 4 lights, we've got 5 lights, 2 Ferraris on the front row in front of Surprise, who really needs to get that win today, and they're off, and it looks like Leopard is not going to get a good enough start. Will he get the slipstream enough, as actually Pinecone is now finding the inside line on Surprise, could be relegating him down to 4th position already. Lots of jockeying for position. I'm not seeing any major issues, but Evo with that inside line through turn 1, I think is just about going to stay ahead. Let's go on board with Surprise, as he has a great view of that battle, but Leopard does slot in behind his teammate and championship leader, CRG Evo, in the other Ferrari. Oh, we've got Pinecone trying to go around the outside at turn 5. That's a surprising move from the young Haas driver. We talked earlier about his struggle for performance in recent races, and it looks like he might be eager to get a move on and get his way into a podium position nice and early, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. He really is forcing the issue, trying to go around the outside of Veloci Surprise. Joe gaining ground up into 5th position, so 2 places gained for him as well. But Evo getting the getaway he wanted. Leopard, Surprise, and Pinecone too busy watching each other, and Evo launches off the line and leads. Can he break that DRS early on before it's activated? Because it is quite easy to follow on this racetrack. Evo from Leopard, from Surprise, then it is Pinecone and Joe in P5 on this opening lap of the Grand Prix. A really exciting start. Joe up 2, Simon up 2 as well. So that's the 2 big gains, and down 2 is MVP 0, and Zelchi's lost 2 positions as well down at the back. So all to play for. Good start to the race.
Yeah, MVP Zero actually looking like he's hassling Simon a little bit, not quite able to actually pull alongside, but Simon actually going defensive as they got into turn 14 there, worried about the threat of the McLaren behind as we come to the end of the first lap. Still no DRS just yet, and again, the closest cars on track are actually Zero and Simon. Looks like the Red Bull might go defensive for the inside line down towards turn 2. MVP Zero is going to try to round the outside. He's much later on the brakes, but the Red Bull holds station, goes a little bit off circuit, does MVP Zero. He has the inside line now for the swooping left-hander, but no, the Red Bull with that better exit speed coming out of the corner does maintain the position. Team Vodka Shot right behind him in the other McLaren as well, trying to get involved, and it looks like Simon, actually, of all people, is actually really holding people up. He's the biggest gap right now between Morso and Simon, as the Red Bull has actually already fallen out of DRS range.
The Red Bull falling out of the DRS zone under a little bit of pressure. Simon having gained 2 places off the start. Also under a bit of pressure is LCR Leopard up front. Look at Surprise. He's right up behind him now and might fancy his chances at making a move down this long back straight into the chicane of turn 14 and 15. Here we go then, down this back straight on lap 2 out of 27. Is he going to be close enough to line up a move at the end of this straight? Maybe not on this occasion, and it's still Evo in the lead from Leopard second and Surprise in third. But Evo stretching that gap out ever so slightly, but not quite enough, Justin, to get out with DRS on, as we've got Matt 212 really close to Team Vodka Shot as well. Apologies if I miss anything, folks, but my screen is lagging quite considerably. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, I think we might be having some connection issues with the lobby, because I've experienced a few oddities as well, too, if I'm totally honest. But we're on board with the Williams of Matt 212 Gaming, who would love to pick up some points here as Evo, unsurprisingly, sets the fastest lap of the race. DRS is active now, of course, as lap 3 starts. It is 8 tenths from Evo down to his teammates. Just 3 tenths, though, between Surprise and Leopard. Let's go on board with the Mercedes as he gets very close to the back of Leopard through the braking zone of turn 2, and he's sticking right to the back of LCR Leopard through the very high-speed left-hander, staying to the left-hand side, trying to open up that right-hander as much as possible. He does seem faster compared to Leopard, and now another gap has started to form between Surprise and Pinecone. So Pinecone going really aggressive early in the race, trying to get into that top 3, maybe overcook his tires a little bit, and now he has got Joe all over the back of him, and we can only imagine how motivated OMG It's Joe is today for today's race after that really dismal performance last time out at Singapore at a track that he admittedly was going to struggle at always. So OMG It's Joe, though, putting the pressure onto Pinecone. Pinecone has fallen out of the DRS range. DRS is open for Joe, as is it for Surprise, but no, not able to make anything happen there into the braking zone for turn 14. Let's see if anything is happening. Yeah, Jason97F1 actually and Matt212 doing a bit of battling. Jason, with the harder compound tires, does manage to move ahead of the Williams and up into a points-paying position. So already those tires are paying dividends.
Some progress being made by Jason up into the top 10 as the top 3 still cannot be separated. They're slowly breaking away now from Pinecone and P4, who, despite that fantastic pace in qualifying, it doesn't look like he can live with the searing pace of Evo, Leopard and Surprise. So dropping off the group a little bit. But this could be the case all race long, Justin. As I said at the start of the show, breaking the DRS is going to be really tough, so we could be set for a cracking fight between Evo, Leopard, looking really close up front.
Yeah, this could be a good one, as P1R Brown now loses a position to EVR Reynolds, who started in 14, so he's up a couple of positions from where he started as well. Ooh, as Brown loses another position, actually, to Zelchi. I'm not sure what's going on with the Williams driver, but he lost 2 positions pretty quickly there. And it does look like actually sort of a B-spec race is starting to form here, Andy. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but the battle for 10th is hot right now.
Yeah, one World Championship point. We are in AOR, of course, and everyone fights for absolutely everything. Points mean prizes. Every point is a prisoner, and you're seeing it now. Matt, Jason, Reynolds, Zelchi, and P1R Brown all in a queue, forming for that battle for P10. They've all been dropped by the rest of the field. 2.8 seconds nearly up to the next car, and Matt really is going to have a tough time keeping these guys behind, isn't he? Look at that. He's got Jason right behind him in P11, and 3 drivers all on the ultra soft tire. Jason Reynolds and Zelcher. We know Matt doesn't have the at maximum pace. You know, he has struggled at times to pick up points, and you're seeing that now as the Ultrasoft runners get really close to the back of him, and pretty soon we'll see a move, I think, as Joe has come into the pits, Justin.
Yeah, that is rather early. The graphic we showed earlier was saying lap 7 to 10, but this is a rather low tire degradation circuit, so you can kind of do stuff like that and actually get away with it. But we're having a look at Morso now, who has actually closed down. Oh, God! Surprise and Leopard side by side, and Surprise is going to get him actually around the outside through turn 4. Gets the job done, moves himself up into second position. I apologize. I was focused on the battle between Pinecone and Morso there. Didn't even notice that Surprise was getting that close to the back of the Ferrari. What's really interesting here, though, is that Evo was not able to break away from Leopard. So as Surprise moved past Leopard, he's moved directly behind his championship rival of CRG Evo, and within DRS range as well. Meanwhile, that battle for P10 is still going on. Oh, goodness. EVR Reynolds manages to make his way past Matt 212, and then Zelchi follows suit as well. So the two Williams cars really struggling here as Matt 212 goes very, very wide through that left-hander, and that's going to lose him a position now to his teammate, actually, as P1R Brown takes that opportunistic move and moves himself up back up into P12 where he was previously. So, Morso and Pinecone battling it out. Yeah, that's a good one. Morso moving ahead, I assume, with the benefit of DRS there. And actually, Simon and Zero going side by side. And Team Vodka Shot, I have to say, as well. Shout out to Team Vodka Shot, because he's looking rather racy and quick here, too.
Yeah, good job from him so far as the two cars peeling off into the pits there. That's Zero and Pinecone coming in. Pinecone clearly struggling out there. He was dropping off the back of the top three and losing a position to Mursel. But hats off to Mursel. I spoke about it earlier on, about how he's taken to this tier really well. He's now the top runner behind the lead three. Brilliant job from him. He's P4 at the moment, and we know he has got some decent pace. So good job from Mursel. But the big thing is, Surprise so soon, Justin. That was so key, because that could have allowed Evo to break the DRS, but he did it as soon as he could, and now he's right with Evo, and he's right behind him, looking like making a move very soon, and they've both dropped Leopard now. Yeah,
that's the really important thing, is Leopard has actually now dropped off this battle after losing the position to Surprise, which is exactly what Surprise wants. He really doesn't want to be worried about the Ferrari in his mirrors. He wants to be more worried about the Ferrari directly ahead of him as he brushes up against the barrier before the right-hander of turn 11 and just opening up that corner as much as he possibly can. DRS open now for the Mercedes. He's getting closer and closer to the back of that Ferrari. CRG Evo defends the inside line on the run down towards turn 14. Who's going to be later on the brakes? It is Evo. A bit of a lockup from him, but he does manage to make the corner just fine, and Surprise not able to find a way by just yet. But clearly Evo is struggling to keep Surprise behind. It's less than 2/10 between the two of them, as Zelchi now getting very close to the back of EVR Reynolds. Let's go on board with the Renault. It's about 3/10 between them as they're into sector 3 now, but it doesn't look like he's going to make that happen just yet. P1R Brown running rather close behind him as well, too, as now Jason leads this train of cars in the lower half of the points paying positions. Meanwhile, up at the front, Leopard has actually closed back in to within 1 second on the leading pair. Oh, here we go. Surprise around the outside, later on the brakes into turn 2. He does run off the circuit, though, stays to the left-hand side of those bumps, and Evo maintains that leading position. But clearly, Andy, he is looking to get by as soon as possible. I think the Mercedes might be quicker here.
Not too sure. It might be quicker, or there might not be much in it. I just think the DRS is so powerful, the slipstream is so powerful that,
that's fair.
You know, if Surprise gets through, Evo might be doing the same thing to him. But Leopard will be loving this, because in 1 minute it looked like he was going to get dropped. The way Evo's fighting this is going to allow Leopard to get back into this group. It just shows you, as soon as Leopard dropped behind Surprise, he was dropped. But because they're battling, he's back in the DRS, he's back in the slipstream, and he's back in control. So for that reason, I think that is why Surprise is climbing all over the back of Evo so much. But he certainly looks hungry, and he's determined to keep this championship going for as long as he can. And here he is again, gaining as they go down towards the chicane. He's going down the outside on Evo, but he can't quite do it. And Evo covers it off and holds on to the lead for a little longer. But the longer it continues, the more Leopard is getting invited back into the scrap.
Yeah, this is really good stuff to watch. It was a carbon copy of the previous lap. He tried the exact same move, and Evo defended it the exact same way. I was just about to say neither driver coming into the pits, but then Surprise makes a very late decision and peels off for his one stop at the end of lap 7. So he'll be doing a 20-lap stint on his next set of tires. Morso also into the pits for his one and presumably only stop in today's Russian Grand Prix. So now Leopard actually doesn't have any sort of Mercedes between himself and his teammate. I'm very surprised to see, Andy, actually neither Ferrari coming off into the pits, because this now means that one of them is going to have to stop on lap 9.
Yeah, so clever driving there from Surprise, forcing Ferrari to, well, into having to react to him, but the problem is they can't react with both cars, so they're going to have to react with one, and you would think it would be Evo, but...
Ooh.
Likes to run late into the race, Justin. What are you seeing on track?
Surprise has come out behind Pinecone, and by a pretty healthy gap as well, too. He's not even within DRS range of the Haas, so very interesting stuff. Pinecone's not that far behind Joe, and Joe pitted first out of everybody, so let's see what their tire life difference. Okay, so Pinecone pitted 1 lap after Joe, so that explains why there's not much of a gap between them. But yeah, Surprise is down behind both of them, and with less than 2 seconds to MVP 0.
Incredible. Like that is mad. And Joe is going to lead this race then when Leopard and Evo pit then, isn't he? That's incredible. I can't believe how big the undercut is. So that is really, really surprising, Justin. So Leopard, though, Evo doesn't often pit first. He doesn't like to blink first. He likes to hang out there on the tyre. So I wouldn't be surprised if Leopard gets the call to come in before Evo.
Actually, Evo pits, Simon pits, and Team Vodka Shot pits from directly behind Simon. Again, I got to shout out Vodka Shot. I hope I'm not commentator cursing him here, but he is doing a fantastic job so far in this race. We'll have to see where these guys come out relative to OMG. It's Joe, who just made his way through the penultimate corner. Final corner now for the Force India, or maybe we could start calling them Racing Point, just to sort of get into the habit of it nice and early. But here we go on board with Joe, and he is going to be ahead of Evo, and indeed Evo is going to come out only barely ahead of Surprise. It is going to be very, very close between that pairing into the braking zone for turn 2. Less than a car length between the two of them, but it didn't work. Surprise not able to get the undercut on CRG Evo. And again, I have to think that it's just tire life, tire management. We've seen time and time again that Evo is able to be quick and consistent and to actually save tires, and he almost made sort of like an overcut sort of work there. But we now have a very close battle for what is the effective lead of this race. Just behind Joe, we've got Pinecone, Evo, Surprise, and it seems that Zero now starting to fall off of that battle a little bit. He's lost about 4 tenths or so since I last checked on the gap between the McLaren and the Mercedes, but it is tightening right up here on the DRS straight. In fact, Evo may be looking to make an overtake on the Haas of Pinecone. Is Pinecone going to go defensive into turn 14? No, he's not. Evo dives up the inside. He's very deep into the corner, even deeper for the Haas of Pinecone, though, and I think Evo let him back through, but Surprise says thank you very much and took both of those positions. Surprise moves up to effective 2nd place and 2 positions ahead of Evo. This is and a big moment there for MVP 0, just in the background, making a bit of contact with the barriers. You said it yourself, Andy. They're never too far away here at Russia, as Surprise sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:33.5. What an unbelievable lap for our current 2nd place man in the championship. Pinecone and Evo round 2 now. Pinecone with the inside line for turn 2, and he gets onto the brakes, and he is late enough on the brakes to stay ahead of the Ferrari. This is very interesting stuff.
Wow, I'm just puzzled by everything that's happened over the course of the last lap or so. The undercut is huge round here. Pinecone's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. But what I'm most surprised about more than anything else is Evo lunging up the inside on Pinecone. Very, very rare would you ever see Evo attempt to move like that, but he did, and it just didn't work for him. He sent the pair of them out wide, and as you say, Josh, as you say, Justin, Josh, goodness me. Josh obviously said thank you very much. That was a real tongue twister, that one. And my controller's died. My controller's died. Give me a second. I need to go and get a new controller battery. My controller's died.
No problem. No problem. Well, we are experiencing a couple of technical difficulties, but after what we went through in Hungary, this is nothing. We are super prepared for this one. Pinecone is going to easily Pinecone's going to easily stay ahead of Evo through that DRS zone into turn 14. No worries from the Ferrari behind. and indeed possibly gaining a little bit on Surprise. He is just outside the DRS range. In fact, Surprise losing a bit of time to OMG. It's Joe, despite having 3-lap fresher tires. 1.1 is the gap between the Force India and the Mercedes as it stands right now. The 3 leading drivers all started on the Ultra Soft, so they'll be coming in later on in the race. Oh, and that's a 3-second time penalty for LCR Leopard, who started on the front row and now finds himself behind more so. Actually, he's got DRS on the Renault. He does also have that 3-second time penalty that he just picked up, but will he have enough space? Will he have enough track to close in to the back of the Renault? No, not quite. He gets within a couple of car lengths, but not able to pull alongside, as EVR Reynolds now becomes the next to fall victim to the 3-second time penalties due to corner cutting and track extending. So that is certainly not going to be helping him. And I noticed earlier on that Matt 212 has actually gone onto the soft tires. He seems really, he really likes to be the guy that makes us look stupid, because I did say earlier that we're probably not going to see the soft compound tires, and there we go. You know, just like in China, we said nobody was going to qualify on the Ultra Soft, and then he proved us wrong there too. So Matt just loves making us look like fools, as he's in P13 with those soft tires, and I imagine he's going to be losing time for a number of laps before the rest of the grid starts losing that tire life. Leopard now with the DRS, Evo with the DRS as well on Pinecone, actually side by side with the Haas into the braking zone around the outside, gets it done this time into turn 14, moves himself ahead of the Haas, but now with an almost 2.5-second gap to Surprise. Surprise also within about half a second on OMG. It's a Joe as well, just about 4/10 as they make their, it's looking like less than 4/10 actually there as they make their way through the final corner. It's actually 3/10 for Surprise, second in the championship, currently 5th in this race, but net second. He's looking to remedy that though with an overtake with the use of DRS. He'll have the inside line. It doesn't look like Joe is all that keen to fight that one. Joe's nice and late on the brakes, but it's not enough. Surprise moves ahead with that inside line into turn 2, and he's up into the net lead of this race, 3.8 seconds to the next car, which is in fact his teammate though, so I don't imagine he'll fight him too much. In fact, EVR Reynolds could potentially play a role here later in this race if he lets Surprise through, but decides to battle with Joe and Evo. Speaking of Evo, he is already starting to claw back that time that he lost. He's within 2 seconds now of OMG. It's Joe, so we could see that battle resume. Pinecone, though, not giving up, still in DRS range of the Ferrari of Evo, as Simon, who's way down in P10, which is essentially a net 7th, picks up a 3-second time penalty. Not a great day so far for Simon.
I'm back, folks. Couldn't find any batteries, but we'll just limp on anyway. I'm going to go and buy some more. But yeah, it's turning into a great race. Surprise now, as you say, ahead of Joe. He's got to be favourite now for this Grand Prix, isn't he? With what happened with Evo earlier on. He opened the door for him, and I think Evo's chances of winning the championship today are not over, but looking very, very unlikely. They were unlikely already at the start of the day. So I think it's going to run over at least for another race, and with Surprise getting the victory, that increases the chances of it going even further than that. But still out there on those ultra soft tires, yet to stop. We've got Jason, Zelchi and Reynolds. I can't wait to see them come charging back through the field as well. But Joe, that early call to the pits has really put himself in a great position now, and he's now a full 1.2 seconds ahead of Evo, and not only that, he's holding the DRS to the car in front, so that might make things really difficult for Evo to close in.
Yeah, as Surprise has indeed caught up to the back of his teammate, and Reynolds stays very nicely out of the way there. Let's see if Reynolds is going to be a bit of a pain, a bit of a mobile chicane for OMG. It's Joe. Yes, he is. He's going to defend the inside line into the next right-hander as well, but Joe not able to actually pull alongside anyway, and this is the perfect scenario for EVR Reynolds and for Valache Surprise. Surprise takes the net lead of this race, and he's got that little bit of a buffer. He's able to pull out that gap now. It's almost a second between the two Mercedes already, as Reynolds is definitely doing his job fantastically. Evo closing right up to the back of OMG. It's Joe due to him being held up by that other Mercedes of Reynolds, but surely there is nothing the Mercedes is going to be able to do on those extremely worn ultra soft tires. He's been running those since the start of the race. The Force India gets the DRS, breezes right on by. Evo looks to follow through, but no, actually Reynolds slots in between them. Evo's going to try around the outside through turn 15. That's not quite worked out for him. Can he do it around the outside through turn 16? Again, I don't think that's going to work out for him. And he stays behind with Leopard actually now closing to within 1 second as Evo looks to the inside through the penultimate corner. No, he can't be late enough on the brakes there. And Reynolds is doing the best job. I mean, people said at Baku that Leopard was Evo's dog. Well, what does that make Reynolds? Because that was an unbelievable job from the Mercedes driver to build that gap that his teammate needed.
Yeah, and down the inside now goes Leopard. He might even try it on his teammate, and he goes through of Reynolds, and now he is right with Evo, and Joe will be delighted that Evo didn't gain much out of that, and he stays ahead. There might be 4 laps between the tyres, but Joe's still holding on a decent margin over Evo. The problem that Joe has now is he's not within DRS to surprise, so it might become easier for Evo to close in, but Evo has to worry what's going on behind them, because Leopard is tucked right up behind them now, and back in the hunt looking for the victory. The net leader is Surprise from Joe, Evo and Leopard as things stand, and yeah, it's a really enjoyable race, this one. Really don't know which way it's going to go at the moment, Justin, but if I had to guess, I'd say Surprise is more so now, gaining on Pinecone. These two not too far off the back of Evo and Leopard either, and they are on the same strategy.
Yeah, I think Reynolds may have secured the victory for Surprise with his efforts on lap 13, the beginning of lap 14 as well too. Really, really impressive stuff. Really old tires, but did a fantastic job defending. I didn't see anything sort of dangerous from him. He has slipped right down the order. He is now all the way down into P10 with still a stop to make. So it's really not looking good for Reynolds. But I guess he did his job for his teammate. He did a fantastic job, I really have to say. OMG, it's Joe, though, now coming under attack from your championship leader, CRG Evo, as we start lap number 15. Let's go on board with the Ferrari. I believe he's going to be a little bit too far back on this occasion. DRS open now for the Ferrari as he begins to close. 210, no, not quite, 208 miles per hour for Evo into the braking zone for turn 2. He did close in to the back of OMG It's Joe. His next opportunity will be at turn 14 on the back straight, so we will continue to monitor that one. As we did lose MVP 0 earlier in this race, which was unfortunate to see. I don't know if it had anything to do with that contact with the barrier at the exit of turn 17 that we saw earlier in the race, but unfortunately his day was brought to a very early end, and indeed Reynolds is actually out now too. So that is his job done. He made it about halfway through. He gave Surprise the gap that he needed, and it looks like that is going to be it for him, as Surprise now has caught up to the back of Zelchi, but at the best possible location on the circuit. He catches him just before turn 12, picks up the DRS. Oh, Evo and Joe, good spot there. Thank you for pointing that out. And Evo just breezes by. So yeah, not a difficult overtake there for Evo.
In a little bit deep into the corner though, and Joe isn't far away. He's still going to think about coming back. He has a little look, but no, can't do it. And Evo is up now into what would be a net P2. Can he go chasing after Surprise? It's going to be a tall order, as you say, Justin. Reynolds did a fantastic job to help him out, and Surprise, lap 16 out of 27 on course for the victory. We still await the pit stops of Jason and Zelchi to see how they feed back into the action and see if they can come charging back through the field, as Leopard now lines up the move on OMG It's Joe. Surely this should be easy enough as well. DRS open, having a look down into turn 2 perhaps. Leopard feels the need to go around the outside. Joe defending the inside. He's forced out wide as Leopard. He rejoins the track, and Joe should still be ahead for now, but they're going to go side by side all the way through turn 3. I'm experiencing, but Leopard's still there on the outside. Joe covers it off on the inside and clings on for now. Great racing between these two, Justin, isn't it?
Yeah, that's incredible stuff. They're side by side again into turn 6. That's usually not an overtaking location. And Joe going defensive again into turn 7 and 8. Feeling the need to try and hold back Leopard, as we're only on lap number 16 though. We are into the second half of this Russian Grand Prix, but he's got a lot of laps to go, and Leopard with those 5-lap fresher tires is certainly seeming like the quicker car. Oh, as Evo managed to make his way past Zelchi, moves up, and Surprise also moving his way past Jason. So the two de facto leaders, as Leopard and, oh god, that's a terrible camera angle, Leopard and Joe battling once again. Joe coming back at him, or Leopard coming out on top in that battle. and moving himself up into a net 3rd position, which would again be a 4th third place for the one-time race winner, LCR Leopard. So it's looking very, very good for Leopard. A great turn of form. Oh, and that's a 5-second stop-go for Zelchi for speeding in the pit lane, which is certainly not going to help his charge from the back of the grid after coming into the pits for his one and only stop onto the Hypersoft tires, as we still are awaiting the one stop of Jason 97 F1 as well too. Currently sits in 2nd position. It'll be interesting to see. Evo's kind of caught Jason here at a bad part of the circuit, hasn't he?
Yeah, not really when he wants to catch him. I don't think he'll lose too much time, because I actually think by the time he gets onto the back of him, it will be on a preferred part of the circuit. We'll wait and see. But he's not as if he's pushing him around every corner just yet, Justin. So yeah, he should be able to clear him at the ideal moment. But they're really not too far, Evo behind Surprise. So if Evo's got any extra speed, he might just answer Surprise. And look, here he is gaining now. Now he really is pushing the back of Jason, and he's going to catch him right at the start of this long straight and surely be able to get that move done at the turn 14-15 chicane, and he's pulling alongside already. Jason not interested in fighting it. He's not in the same race, and Evo is through. Now 2.6 seconds is the gap to the leader. Can he do anything about it? Let's wait and see.
Yeah, Jason definitely one of those drivers that understands you're only hurting yourself by battling the leaders. You know, as you said, it's a totally different strategy. I imagine he is going to be pulling off into the pits here, which at the end of lap 17 would put him on for a 10-lap stint on the Hypersofts, but no, he actually stays out, which could actually be a good thing for Leopard here, because now Leopard is guaranteed to get the DRS. I'm not sure he would have gotten the DRS if Jason had pulled off into the pits, and that's going to help defend him from OMG It's Joe, except I don't know if Joe actually got the DRS there, but Leopard does breeze right on by the Haas of Jason 97 F1, moves himself up into that podium position. In the background, Pinecone doing a bit of battling with Simon, as Simon around the outside through turn 2. Pinecone looking like he'll have to defend around the outside for turn 4. That's, again, not a great camera angle here. There we go. Simon around the outside now into turn 5, but no, Pinecone later on the brakes maintains the position. Better exit speed, though, for the Red Bull. Will have the inside line as well for turn 6, and surely that is going to be the move done, because it's a couple of right-handers after turn 6 as well, too, so he's going to have the inside line for those as well, and Simon does narrowly move past, oh my gosh, less than a meter, about a half a meter between the Red Bull and the Haas there as they make their way through that right-hander, and Simon moves up a position. Pinecone also picking up a 3-second time penalty earlier in the race, so unfortunately it's looking like Pinecone's string of poor performance is going to continue as Jason now comes under attack from OMG It's Joe. Again, really not defending that one much, and he's got more so now directly behind him. Now will Jason pit? We'll see at the end of lap 18. We put him on for a 9-lap stint on the Hyper Softs, and I'm sure Morso would be glad to see that Haas out of his way, because he's practically pushing Jason through. But no, again, Jason stays out once more.
Jason really going long into this race, isn't he? Onto the Hypersofts at the end, much longer than everyone else that had done a similar strategy. But he's going to be easy meat for Morso now as they go down the start-finish straight through the right-hand kink of turn 1. And yep, easy pickings for AOR Morso, who easy's passed up into P5. Evo, though, now almost under 2 seconds to Surprise. He really is starting to hack that gap down. Leopard, to be fair to him, isn't dropping away. He's just a fraction inside DRS to Evo as well, as Jason has, of course, dropped behind Merso, who's up to P5. Hats off to Merso. Again, all race long, Justin. He's really showing that he can really compete in this tier, having moved up from the tier below. And I'm not surprised. I've seen his pace in other leagues, and I know he's rapid. Great job from him.
Oh, as Leopard picks up a 3-second time penalty. I don't remember if that's his first, actually. Did he have a penalty before that? I do not remember, but that is certainly not going to help him hold on to that podium position, although he does currently have a 3.2-second gap down to OMG It's Joe, so if he only has the 3 seconds and not 6 seconds worth of penalties, that will keep him in that podium position, as Vodka Shot now also picking up a 3-second time penalty, and Jason now losing that position to CRG Simon, who moves himself up into 6th position. I think he might also have a 3-second time penalty as well, though. So we'll have to see when the race finishes up as we're coming to the end of lap 19. Just 8 laps remaining in this Russian Grand Prix. We do have Surprise leading from Evo, but that gap is coming down. It's now less than 2 seconds. And Leopard, who has a 3-second time penalty or more potentially, has actually caught right up to the back of Evo. Okay, it was saying 0.3 was the gap for a moment there, so I very quickly switched over. But then it was reading 0.8, so I don't think that's going to happen. DRS open for WROR more so, though, as the two Haas's switch positions as Pinecone moves himself up into 7th. And Jason has stayed out again. I have to say, I don't agree with this strategy call from Jason. He's now lost the position to Vodka Shot as well, too. I really think he should have came in already, especially somebody like him who is as kind on the tires as he is. I really think he should have been into the pits already.
It's a strange one from Jason. He's going really, really long. Maybe he's doing an episode of Drive Till the Tires Explode. I don't know. But he's in P9 at the moment. And yeah, dropping down for the order. Really surprising not to see him in just yet, Justin. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see at the end of this lap if he makes the call to come into the pits. But Leopard now, sorry, Leopard really close. Oh my!
What?
What is going on?
What?
Justin, you usually get shocked when this happens, so get shocked. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe it. Evo with a 3-second time penalty. I want to say that's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen a time penalty for CRG Evo, but unfortunately for him, as Morso now moves past OMGH Joe, apologies for missing out on that overtake. It looks like that got done into turn 14 with the use of DRS. The Renault now moving himself up into the top 4. He's not within the 3 seconds that he needs in order to catch up to Evo. The only good thing for Evo here is that he's not going to lose a position to Leopard. If he stays ahead on circuit, due to Leopard also having a 3-second time penalty. So it's not the end of the world for Evo here. He's still on for an 18 points tally. But that is a very surprising one. Let's switch quickly over to Team Vodka Shot because it looks like he's going to have a DRS-assisted overtake on the Haas of Pinecone. Pinecone with the inside line into turn 2. Vodka Shot right around the outside, though, with those 3-lap fresher tires with the inside line now through turn 4. It looks like Team Vodka Shot is gonna just about stay ahead. No! Very late braking for Pinecone into the right-hander. Oh, the back end steps out a little bit on him, though, and Vodka Shot moves ahead once again. They're side by side through turn 6 now. Vodka Shot on the outside. Oh, contact between the pair of them. Vodka Shot finding the barrier on the left-hand side. That's going to allow P1R Brown as well to get involved in this fight, which is for 7th position at the moment. Very surprising stuff from Vodka Shot and Pinecone, both of whom were looking really strong earlier in the race, but now battling it out for the lower points-paying positions.
Yep, 7th and 8th battling out quite far down. P1R Brown, though, who was having a really rocky opening exchange to the race, he's coming back into play here, isn't he? Look at that. He's only a few seconds behind them. Zelchi and Jason finally, of course, making their pit stops as look at that battle between Vodka Shot and Pinecone. It's heating up even more. Vodka Shot on the inside. Goodness me, this is close. It's hard for me to try and cover it because, again, it's lagging like crazy. As P1R Brown now, I think, is slithering up the inside, trying to go past Pinecone. He can't quite do it, and Pinecone holds on to that P8. But Zelchi and Jason, if these guys keep battling like this, Zelchi and Jason will be on them in a flash, even at the distance behind they are. Incredible.
Simon now as well.
Simon, oh yep, there he is, going side by side with OMGH Joe, and he's going to go down the inside and through up into P5. Simon, who's not a great race by his standards, moves up to P5. He's been out for a while. He's not been missed the last few races, but he has returned, and it's P5. Not the most spectacular race for him. He's ahead of Joe. Joe said he was going to struggle today, and that's exactly what he's doing. P6 at the moment, not matching the form that he's showing in recent races. So good stuff there, but also look at the front of the field. I know he's got a penalty, but he's now under a second to Surprise. It just shows you just how much he's pushing. Evo really starting to gain, but at the same time, the big key factor here, Justin, he's dragging Leopard with him.
Yeah, Leopard keeping right up with the back of Evo, and Evo closing up to the back of Surprise as well, too. Evo and Leopard, both Ferraris, with 3-second time penalties, so worth keeping in mind for our viewers. As you see that gap get ever closer and closer. It's now about half a second from Surprise to Evo. Ditto for Evo down to Leopard. So very, very close between all 3 of those guys. But again, the 2 Ferraris with 3-second time penalties and no penalties for Surprise so far. Pinecone and Vodka Shot continuing to battle it out as Pinecone now moves ahead of Vodka Shot, I assume with the use of DRS into turn 14. So those guys still battling it out with P1R Brown as well, waiting in the wings to see if anything happens. Might be there and ready to pick up the pieces as let's actually switch over to Evo. He's got the DRS. He's very late on the brakes into turn 2, closing up very close to the back of Surprise as Matt 212 now picking up a 3-second time penalty. Clearly that soft compound strategy not working out for him as Simon now moves his way past more so, moves up into 4th position. Vodka Shot and Pinecone battling again as now Pinecone moves up ahead and P1R Brown actually going to follow him through around the outside through turn 4. He'll have the inside line, of course, for turn 5. Can he be later on the brakes? Oh, and that's another 3-second time penalty for LCR Leopard, so I think that potentially could ruin his chance at a podium, but CRG Simon would need to close in pretty significantly, and I've completely forgotten what kind of penalties the Red Bull driver has at the moment, but we do have battles up and down the field. Oh, as P1R Brown now becomes the next person to fall victim to the 3-second time penalty. Oh, let's switch to Evo. Talk us through it.
Around the outside goes Evo. Can he do it on Surprise? He does have a penalty, remember, but Surprise covers it off and holds on. That's now allowed Leopard to come alongside Evo and go up the inside. Leopard is Evo's dog, they say. He's his dog no more. He's through up into 2nd place and Evo down into 3rd. Evo tried his best to get through and Surprise squeezed him out. That opened the door for Leopard and he takes P2 away, and it looks like the championship's going to be going quite a considerable distance longer than we thought, Justin. Surprise on course to win.
Which is fantastic. I mean, that's what everybody wants. That's what we want as commentators. That's what the fans want. Nobody wants to see Evo winning at round 16 out of 21. That is not the best way to finish up a championship, as all 3 of our leaders navigate their way through turn 2, through turn 3, through turn 4. The very high-speed left-hander, you have to say, Leopard is getting very, very close to the back of Surprise, but not able to find a way past the Mercedes as they get into turn 5. Surprise feeling the need to defend the inside line on the run into turn 6, and does hold that inside line, keeps Leopard behind for now, but the Ferrari with 2-lap fresher tires. We are on lap 24, so about 3.5 laps remaining in this Russian Grand Prix. Leopard, this is all about pride at this point. Don't forget, I imagine our driver of the day vote is open now. I couldn't even begin to suggest who should win it. Possibly Surprise is certainly a candidate. I got to give it to Leopard as well, too, despite all the penalties. He's been driving really, really well today. I'd say Leopard is a deserving candidate. Evo would probably deny driver of the day if you voted for him, just purely because of that penalty and how German he is. But into turn 14, and again, the Ferrari closing right up to the back of Surprise through 15 as well, getting very, very close to the back of the Mercedes. Surprise taking a very defensive line through the left-hander, through the chicane they go, down towards the penultimate corner to finish up lap 24. And I have to say, I think Surprise is going to win this race, but I don't know if he's going to be the first to cross the line.
Absolutely, Justin, I agree with that. I don't think Surprise is too bothered at the moment. He probably knows they both get penalties. He just wants to keep his own race clean. He's got 2 warnings to his name as things stand, as they all funnel their way down the start-finish straight. They began lap 25 out of 27. It's been a fantastic race up front. It's a shame that penalties are going to come and decide this one, as Leopard tries to go down the outside of Surprise. He's going to get squeezed on the outside there. Surprise holds on as they now make their way through the long sweeping turn 4. Leopard on the inside of Surprise. Look at this racing at the front of the field between the 2 leaders, and Leopard's going to sweep round the outside and on the racetrack at least take the lead of the Grand Prix. But of course, down to penalties, it's going to go Surprise's way. But that was a fantastic move from LCR Leopard, who's putting in his performance of the season, Justin.
Yeah, like I said, despite the penalties, I gotta say Leopard is a heavy contender for possible driver of the day. As Surprise had a very difficult time through that right-hander back there, and that really messed up his line through the left-hander as well, too. He's only narrowly keeping ahead of Evo, and I don't think he's within DRS range on the back of Leopard, so I think the Mercedes is going to be very susceptible here and could get overtaken by another Ferrari, as Evo, with the DRS open, is trying to decide which side he wants to go to. Surprise is going to defend the inside line as they make their way at nearly 200 miles an hour down into the right-hander of turn 14. A lot of space, a lot of respect being given by both drivers, but in the end, Surprise does lose that position. He comes back at him, though, at the exit of 15. They're going to be side by by side through 60. An incredible battle between Evo and Surprise here. Again, it's a shame it's not really for position due to those penalties, as Andy said, but really, really great stuff watching Surprise defend this. And is that spits of rain I've seen? The skies have darkened a little bit as we start the penultimate lap, but I think I saw just a little bit of rain. I don't know if that was maybe a graphical glitch or something, but I swear I saw some droplets there as Surprise looks to regain that position on CRG Evo. He's going to try around the outside at turn 2, banging wheels side by side through 3, through 4, inside line for the Mercedes, outside line for the Ferrari, but of course that'll become the inside line for the right-hander here. Can Evo hold on from Surprise? Yes, he does, only barely. Stays ahead of the Mercedes as they get their way down towards Sector 2 of this penultimate lap. It is pretty close in the back as well, too. Pinecone and Vodka Shot and Zelchi all in very close quarters. So these are the main battles we have going on as we get to the closing stages of this Russian Grand Prix. We've got the battle for 8th that's going on at the moment, and what is kind of a battle for the lead. Again, the 2 Ferraris with those time penalties. Still great to see that on-track action.
A fantastic on-track action between them all. Jonathan Ledyard has joined. What? Is that coming up on your screen? Did you see that?
It did. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
That's the former BBC commentator for F1. That is Jonathan Ledyard. No, that is brilliant. If you're ever going to have a username to join, that is the one to join. We don't need you, Jonathan. Go away. We've got our own commentators here. Don't come and try and steal our jobs. Oh, well, there you go. What a moment that is. That's getting clipped. That's a strange one. 27 or 27, you've got me, Justin, and Jonathan Ledyard in the commentary box for the final lap of this Grand Prix. So, Surprise looks like he's going to win the race as a result of these penalties. Well, how far up the field will Simon get? Let's ask Jonathan Ledyard.
Oh, and he's left. Right, as soon as we go to him for his opinion, he leaves. Typical. As Pinecone and Vodka Shot continuing this absolutely epic battle that they have going on for the final points-paying positions. They have really dropped off the back of Zelchi now, so this has officially become a 2-horse race, but they are going to be side-by-side down towards turn 2. Inside line for the Haas. He's actually pulled ahead under braking, and it is definitely spitting down with rain at the closing stages of the circuit, right around turn 18. But as far as I can tell, it is only raining at turn 18, so I don't think it's really going to be affecting our drivers. Let's rejoin the other battle on circuit between the top 3, as actually they have all spread out a pretty significant amount. At the moment, it is currently 2.4 seconds from Leopard down to Surprise, but Leopard does have 6 seconds worth of penalties. So really all Surprise needs to do is keep within 6 seconds of Leopard, keep within 3 seconds of Evo. And as we're into Sector 3 already, I do believe he is going to do it. And it is going to be the race win. He might cross the line 3rd, as the back end stepping out quite a bit for him there, actually, through turn 16, I think that was. But Surprise is going to hold on. He is going to keep within that gap that he needs. He's going to cross the line in 3rd position, but it is going to be another victory for the Mercedes driver. Veloce Surprise picks up the win here in Sochi, and an absolutely incredible race. It is going to be 2nd position for CRG Evo, though, so it's going to be down to a 93-point gap with 5 races remaining, as Vodka Shot picking up another 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help him in his battle with Haas. Yeah, what's that?
Look how close Murso was to get on the podium.
Holy cow!
That's mad!
Wow!
He did that. Incredible.
Wow, absolutely. Yeah, that is a very impressive drive from Morso. If the driver of the day vote is not closed, I'd like to nominate Morso as well, too. I think in the end, I got to give it to Surprise. You know, he didn't even start on the front row, but just by driving a nice, clean, smooth, consistent race, he picks up a win. It's kind of strange, isn't it, Andy? He almost won this race by doing what Evo normally does. He's done the Evo. He might not have crossed the line in first, but he avoided any sort of penalties, and, you know, in the end, he was the man with the shortest race time. So really surprising stuff there from Surprise, as he picks up, what is that? That's going to be win number 4 this season for Surprise. Veloce Surprise on the top step for the 4th time here in season 16. And he is your Russian Grand Prix winner. And he is sandwiched on either side by Ferraris, which is honestly how he spent most of the race, wasn't it?
It was. It was a good fight up front. I'm just a wee bit disappointing, isn't it, that the penalties didn't make it, took away from the excitement a little bit. But we still enjoyed the battle out front. And you're absolutely right, Justin. Veloci surprise winning, doing exactly what Evil would usually do. And it's him that picks up the victory, winning by 1.5 seconds in the end with the penalty count. Leopard counting just too many penalties and finishing third. Mercel, so close to denying Leopard the podium. It would have been an incredible result. We spoke at the top of the show about how it was nice to see a few different drivers on the podium. It would have been fantastic to see the Renault up there. He was fourth. Simon fifth, below par today. Didn't seem to have any kind of pace. Joe likewise in sixth. P1 Brown seventh. Jason recovered up to P8 in the end. It was 9th for Vodka Shot and 10th for Pineco, getting that final point. But you've gone for surprise for driver of the day. I tend to agree, but I'm going to be different, and I'm going to give it to Merceau for that almost podium. He did a really good job, but I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I gotta say, really impressive stuff from Morso. That is his best result so far this season, and his 4th time scoring points as well too. We'll see if we get any of the drivers. We do have a driver with us. We've got CRG Evo. We'll see if we get anybody else with us. But Evo, very uncharacteristic penalty for you there. We're always, every time you get a penalty, we're always very surprised, predictably surprised. But what happened out there? Can you talk us through it?
God damn it. I don't know really. I just braked too early once and then just got a warning, and that was my third, and then got the penalty. But there was a scene earlier in the race with Pinecone, I think. We were side by side, and my MFD popped up with the DRS failure, and I missed my braking point and then pushed him off the track. I think that was a scene in the race which you were wondering what happened. Yeah, after that I was just letting him pass again, and Surprise, of course, got through as well. After that, I was just pushing a bit and then got the warning, as I said before. Yeah, and then in the end there, I don't know what it was, but I felt like there was something wrong with my brake pedal or something. I don't know. Every time I try to brake late, I'll just miss the corner by miles, but that shouldn't be an excuse. I think congrats to Surprise on the win. I think it's his birthday today as well. So happy birthday.
Is it?
Yeah, and congrats to Leopard on P3.
Yeah, that was actually the next thing that I was going to ask you about. Leopard nearly stole that pole position from you. It was incredibly close between you guys in qualifying, and I don't mean at the end. I mean like throughout qualifying, you guys trading top times and all that kind of stuff. Is it just a circuit that Leopard goes well at, or what's up?
Yeah, his practice pace was really good. I didn't expect him to be this close to us, but yeah, it was really close. I to be honest, my quali lap didn't feel that good. I think there could have been even more time in it, but yeah, got the pole position in the end. I think that's my first one since Spain or something like that. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Wow, was that really your first pole since Spain? Holy cow. What a statistic. I did not know about that, actually. That's impressive stuff that you've been doing that well without starting from pole. That is pretty surprising. Well, I think we have a week off now, right? We're not returning next week? Yeah, that's right. So you have a 2-week gap from now to Suzuka. How are you feeling about Suzuka?
Suzuka is normally one of my favorite tracks, but like I said in interviews before, on this game somehow that track isn't for me. But yeah, I still enjoy the track. I think it's gonna be close with the other guys as well as always, and yeah, it should be a good fight. Yeah, looking forward to that one. But yeah, it was another great race out there today. Really enjoyed that. We were a little bummed that the penalties for you and Leopard kind of took the race fight out of it. We kind of knew Surprise was going to win even before you guys got past them and everything. But still, really great on track stuff. Really exciting battling, side by side stuff.
really, really good. So the championship will go down to Suzuka. It is not decided as of yet, but it could be decided in Suzuka. We'll have to wait on that one. Any closing comments or thoughts from you, Andy?
Yeah, I enjoyed the race. I thought it was a really close battle up front. I'm just glad to see the championship go for another race, and you know, with the result we had today, there's a possibility it could perhaps go even further than the next race. So yeah, I'm happy, Justin, and I'm looking forward to Suzuka. Should be a cracker.
Yep. So thanks everybody for watching. That was our coverage of the Russian Grand Prix with Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 League on the Xbox platform. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for the Japanese Grand Prix from Suzuka. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you then. Bye-bye.